Hello, and welcome back to the Voice of the Realm. We are your nightly radio podcast to bring you the best South American and North American Dota, specifically casting the Realms Collide 2, Burning Darkness. Today you will notice an empty chair beside me. Indeed, not only is the chair empty, but so is my heart, as my good casting partner Seek and Strike has decided to take a couple days off. For those of you that don't know, he was actually running the camera, the production, the casting, he was doing everything at once, which is now my job. Fuck you, Richie. So we are going to be bringing in a new guest to make up for Richie. In this guest, we actually thought of bringing up some of the local talent here, as we are actually from, I am not from Kuala Lumpur, but we are living currently in Kuala Lumpur, and we thought to bring up some of the best analysts here. So here I will present to you the one and only. It's gonna be Mr.
Leon
It's gonna be
Arthur
Mr.
Lee.
Arthur Dota. No, I know your name, mate. I know your name. Do not. I'm just waiting for the transition. There we go.
Hello everybody. Good to be here. And of course, Abel. It's been a while since we have cast together. And yeah, this is my first time doing South American and North American Dota, and I'm super excited to cast this.
I'm excited to have you here. We thought of bringing Arthur actually into the studio, by the way, for those of you wondering, because he is also residing in KL. But we also thought it would be more respectful, particularly to the situation we are living right now, that we just did it, as an extraneous broadcast. When I'm with Richie, since we live together, it's not really that big a deal. We don't have to wear masks or anything, because we're already infected if one of us is. But in the case of Arthur, we wanted to respect the social distancing. So we encourage other tournaments to try to do the same. Now, Arthur, the draft is underway. We have a great game between Omega Gaming and Thunder Predator. We have the draft below us. What do you think of the draft right now, seeing the first two picks?
Well, I'm liking the aggressiveness coming out from Thunder Predator a lot. Ember Spirit, Slaughter, these are the heroes that can really help you play fast. And of course, Slaughter has been one of the most popular hero in this meta currently. And Ember Spirit, I've seen like when I'm doing my research, I've seen a lot of South American team just first facing Ember Spirit, and I thought to myself, why is this the case? Why am I not seeing any of this happening in Southeast Asia? And I just think that Ember Spirit is one of the better heroes that can just gives you lots of flexibility in draft and also a lot of good movement that requires to open up the map at the early game. So yeah.
One of the reasons Ember Spirit is actually really played, particularly by Thunder, is actually that it's a flex pick for them, and quite a flex pick. Most people, we have some teams like, for example, Quincy crew, they flex the Ember into the carry position sometimes. We actually saw that recently as they played Ember versus Timbersaw in a recent match in this tournament. Lost, though. But particularly for Thunder Predator, they flex him a lot in the 4 position as well, which is a big deal, right? So they can actually pretend like he's a core, and then turns out he's not. And there's not really much you can do about it, because Matthew is honestly a god on the Ember. He's actually really, really good Ember 4, which is why Thunder likes picking him up so often. And that's why I think the Ember's seen more in South America. On top of the fact that a lot of people are pretty good Embers, like you mentioned, you also have the factor, a very important factor, that Embers in general are just a really big flex pick in this region. Omega, they're going to start out with Mirana and Oracle, also very unique picks for them. They love the Mirana. INS Mirana is absolutely incredible. His best hero, I would argue, together with Wind Ranger. And actually, you have a lot of comfort picks here for Omega. They pick up the Mirana, the Oracle, which they played once or twice. Panda just likes to play very sacrificial 5s. And then the Bloodseeker. I'd argue Oscar is maybe like top 3 heroes, up there with Underlord and Timbersaw for sure.
Yeah, and so Bloodseeker just gives you a lot of value, right? The amazing AoE silent, and also of course the BKB piercing ultimate rupture as well. But my biggest concern here is that how well the Bloodseeker could fare against the Drow Ranger on the lane, because I feel like this should be the lane that Drow Ranger like a lot. Just could get all the free hit on Bloodseeker, and in the mid game, you don't really afraid of the rupture at all, since you are just standing there and dish out damage. And if you look at the 4 picks coming out from Thunder Predator, they have a lot of enormous synergy, Drought plus TA, and of course Slaughter as well. So the entire tempo is really, really fast against Omega's hero right now.
It's true. It's a huge physical armor draft already. And here I think it shows what I was talking about earlier, right? The fact that Ember can flex as a 4 is very powerful and allows you to just kind of surprise pick a TA, right? Whereas Omega did not ban any of these mids because they weren't expecting it, because Ember can always be mid. But of course, Thunder Predator always plays with that, Matthew being an incredible 4 that you pretty much give him anything, honestly. He's a incredibly versatile support hero. So Thunder, really synergistic draft for now, but Omega, they're trying to counter the lanes a bit. You're right about the Bloodseeker. But Viper, pretty good against Templar. I mean, one of those classic counters, the Viper versus Templar lane. How do you think? How do you think Leo's gonna deal with this now?
Well, I mean, Leo is a pretty experienced TA player. I think most of the TA player, when they are faring up against Viper, they'll just retreat into the jungle really early on, and then you probably have to pull your Ember Spray from the offlane side to the mid to just soak up the XP. But at least for Omega Gaming, they have this Viper against TA. They also have Oracle against Ember Spray and Slaughter as well. So you have good spells to push off the String Chain and also Corrosive Haze. So it feels like Omega Gaming, they have gotten themselves quite a good numbers of answers to the heroes of Thunder Predator.
How do you find that they should end the draft though? What carries would you like to see here for Omega? Because that's obviously what they need.
Well, I'm not seeing a Drow Ranger killer right now. They probably want something that can just jump onto the face of Drow Ranger and finish him off. But they've banned out some of the better heroes to do that. The Spectre, Lifestealer, PA, they're all out of the pool. So they might have to go for something that is a little bit out of the meta, something like a PL would be good, because most of the carry are getting banned out right now. They don't have. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. What about a Ricky? What would you think about a Ricky? Because I think Ricky against Drow is a really good matchup because you blink strike behind her, so she has a really hard time gusting you away. I know you're up against a Slardar, but just because of the Drow matchup, do you think it's worth it?
I don't know. I feel like you're setting yourself up if you are picking Ricky into Slaughter. First of all, the laning phase is going to be really hard for Ricky. But it does fit the style that Omegas likes to play, though, like really fast and aggressive. And of course, Ricky, if you're able to get off the lane against Slaughter into the mid game, I would argue that, yeah, it should be pretty good against Ember Spray and Drow. It's just the laning phase is a little bit too much for me.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the Ember Spirit Slaughter lanes are the strongest lane in the world, but they do have a lot of kill potential, and Ricky could suffer a lot against this. I'm just failing to see what other heroes, honestly, you could run here, because obviously you can sort of counter Drow with like Illusion Hero somewhat, but most Illusion Heroes also have high base armor, like Naga, for example. Yeah, I was thinking about the Naga, but they have a high base armor too, so it's not like the ideal pick either. The only thing about Naga is that you can Song and get close to Drow. What other heroes can close that gap easily that are in the carry position? I honestly can't think of many for Mingati here.
Yeah, well, like sometimes if you ran out of the heroes, if the heroes are all banned out, you could go for another approach, which is the defensive approach. Like we have seen a lot of Arc Warden